due to our previous experiences, we've been able to go back, do our homework well and our corrections, so we are coming back stronger and better.
I think last year we were actually very good, but yesterday we got to quarterfinals, so that means that there were some amendments that were needed, and I think this year those amendments have been done.
So Accra Academy are 2-time champions. St. Louis are quarterfinalists and I think semi-finalists as well. Does that bring any nervousness?
No, it's just really past glories.
Preparation-wise, we know we've done our best. We have done drills. We have put in a lot of commitment and dedication. And we also know that horses are prepared for battle, but victory is of the Lord.
Which school do you want to qualify to come and meet you?
Any school that's worthy of facing St. Augustine's can come.
Other schools may think of really undermining and all others, but I want to say that this year we are in for the best.
Oh, our expectation is to enjoy from it and learn as well. And also we are here to surprise our alma mater and ourselves. Besides, we came here for an agenda, as our teammates will say, agenda.
We expect that the old boys will give us their support, and we expect the fans to watch out for us and keep.
Next, we have Accra Academy. That was quite an entrance. We have Opoku Ware, SHS, to take the stand now. And the last school, University Practice, SHS. So now we have all our contestants seated. I am Josiah Enchi, and I have been your host for this segment. Now I'm going to hand over to our quizmaster, Mr. Godson.
Hello. Yeah. Good morning and welcome to today's contest. The environment is very dull. So, contestants, it's you and I today, okay? Don't look at the environment, else you'll be giving me wrong answers. And if you've met me before, you know I'll not tolerate a lot of things, right? So, please focus, okay? And then don't let the environment influence your answers, at least. All right. Are we good? Okay, so you're welcome to the third preliminary contest for NIQ 2025. It will be a very interesting contest, and I believe my schools are ready. Okay, so I'll go around and take introductions from the various schools. So when I come to your school, you tell me your names and how you feel entering this contest. An icebreaker. Let's start from there. Yes, UP. Your name and how you feel entering this contest.
My name is Lydia Frempong, and today I'm feeling very great.
Thank you, Lydia.
Okay, I go by the name Kingsley Iwashipi, and I think it's time to glorify the name of the Lord.
Lewandowski and Lamaine, you are very much welcome. Who do we have from Opoku Ware?
In the person of Intim Nanaya Ochumesi.
You don't have a feeling?
My name is Jemfi Samuel Kweku, and we are hoping to win this
All right. Thank you very much. Accra Academy, who do we have?
My name is Chumesi Michael. Jonathan Amote. And then with God, we know we are victors already.
Thank you, Accra Academy. Yes, St. Louis, we met in Kumasi, right? All right. Let's hear from you.
I am Emanuela Incansa, and I know having the name of the Lord, I know He wouldn't leave me.
Thank you.
I go by the name Esther Chuku.
It's only in contest that you know everybody believes in God. So we are going to see whose God is going to win today. I mean for the violence. I just want to see which school is the best. I don't know whose God is going to win. All right, so My spectators, you are welcome. Let's listen to some very important rules before we begin, right? So the contest is scheduled for 5 rounds. I believe you know. Round 1 will test you on theory. So you are testing your ability to produce answers to specific questions. Pay attention, listen to the question, and give me the answer, right? A correct answer scores you 3 points. A bonus, when I declare it to be bonus, gives you 1 point. Now, for bonuses, I'll hit on it and hit on it again. For bonuses, wait for it to be declared to be a bonus, and ring, and wait to be called. There are 3 waits, so let me start. All right. So you wait for it to be declared to be a bonus, then wait, ring, okay? If it is declared a bonus, then you ring, and then you wait to be called. Then you produce the answer, right? Okay, so that is it's very important. It's very important. So listen to it and pay attention to that. So that's for round 1. Okay? All right.
Someone has expert knowledge and skills which enables him to carry out his line of work efficiently.
Okay, so hello, look at me. So round 2 will test will be a case study analysis. So I'm going to give you a very simple case. You listen to the case and answer the question that follows the case. All right, very simple, straightforward. Round 3 will be a simulation. I know you've practiced. You are going to show us your skills over there. Round 4 will be a presentation. You received your case study, you've analyzed it, you do your presentation. And round 5 is divided into 2 sections. The first section is true or false, right? If you get a correct answer, it's 2 points, 2. If you get it wrong, -1. Okay? Now, a school may refuse to answer, in which case it qualifies as a bonus. Even in that, wait for me to declare it as a bonus, then you ring and you are called. If you rush and you get it wrong, -1. Okay? All right. And when I get there, I'll repeat it again, because I know you rush. And then the second part is riddles. So I have a set of riddles, 5 riddles, depending on the contest, may increase, depending on what goes on. But 5 riddles, okay? Every riddle has 5 clues. The first clue, 5 points. If you get it correct on the first clue, 5 points. Correct on the second clue, 4 points. And then correct on the third or any other clue, 3 points. Now, if a school rings the bell and gets it wrong, it is exempted from giving answers in that particular riddle. And then I'll continue reading the next clues for the other schools, okay? But I'll keep on repeating these rules as and when we get there. All right. So I believe we can start, right? Okay. Let's start. And we are starting on we are taking it down, okay? Let's start on the low key. So this is a general preamble to all schools. Vehicle that pulls money from multiple investors and then purchases diversified portfolios, right? So everybody invests in a mutual fund for a specific goal. Your question here is to explain the following terms in mutual funds, okay? In terms of 1, what they invest in, 2, their goal, and then 3, the kind of investors that deal in it. So 1, you tell me what that particular instrument invests in, 2, the goal of that investment, and then 3, the kind of investors that goes in there. Are we okay? All right. So St. Louis, let me start from you. Equity funds.
Equity funds invest in stocks of company. The goal is long-term and to grow your stocks to generate more income. And the kind of investors that invest in equity funds are investors that look forward to long-term returns and investors that have a high tolerance or moderate tolerance for risks.
All right, I'll give it to you. That's correct for 3 points. When you're speaking, look at me, okay? Those people, they are not nice. I'm very nice, so look at me. All right, Accra Academy. Fixed income funds.
Okay. Fixed income funds invest in fixed income, to be specific. Income that are steady. And also the goal is to ensure steady income to ensure one's financial independence. And the kind of invested are the low risk tolerance group.
2 out of 3. You didn't get 1. 2 out of 3. All right. Opoku Ware. Money market funds.
Money market funds, what they invest in is short-term funds, and their goal is to earn their returns in the shortest possible time. And an example is treasury bills and money market funds, like the Data MF fund. And the kind of investors are investors who are looking for short-term income to meet their liquidity.
The goal
is short-term investment.
2 out of 3. UP. I'll tell you why. Don't worry. Let me finish. UP. Yours is index funds.
So they invest in securities that mirrors the JSC index. And the goal is to track the performance of the stock. And the kind of investors are those who want stable returns and those who want performance sectors, to invest in performance sectors.
All right. So you had what to invest in correct. The goal, I'm not accepting that. I accept the last one. 2 out of 3. You too, the goal is not what you said, okay? The goal is liquidity, capital safety, those type of things. And Accra Academy, you also said something that I didn't accept. Yeah, you get 2 out of 3. I've forgotten what you said. Yeah, so that's it for the first set of questions. Next set of questions. Okay, please test your bells, okay? St. Louis, Accra Academy, Opoku Ware, UP. Okay, thank you. Next set of questions, general preamble. Now, financial instrument can be defined as a contract, okay, that gives rise to financial asset to one party or a financial liability or equity to the other party, okay? So you are learning. Now, the capital market of Ghana has various financial instruments. Your ask is to explain one of such instruments. Explain one of such instruments. St. Louis.
Stocks or shares. It refers to ownership of a company. Yes, when in stocks or shares, when you invest in it, you get dividends, and if the company performs well, you can also get capital gains. Capital gains refers to the profit you get after selling.
I accept that. 3 out. Yeah, correct for 3 points, okay? 3 out of 3. Yes, Accra Academy.
Okay, we have commodity. So for the commodity market, it's traded on the Ghana Commodity Exchange, and it helps link farmers.
So the commodity market, they provide a structured platform for trading in commodities and also ensure fair pricing of commodities.
I accept that. 3. Opoku Ware.
Treasury bonds. These are long-term debt securities issued by the government, and they generate long-term returns.
Come again.
Treasury bonds. These are long-term debt securities issued by the government, and they generate long-term returns with a low risk level.
All right. Correct 3 out of 3. Yes, UP.
Treasury bills. So treasury bills are short-term securities issued by government, which have maturities like 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days.
That's correct for 3 points. Won't you both get some wrong? Okay, let's see. Next set of questions. General preamble. Now, the business cycle, okay, reflects the natural rise and fall of economic growth in an economy. Okay, so the cycle is very, very useful for economic planning, analyzing the economy and all that. A nation's GDP rises and falls according to the economic cycle it is in. Okay, so all businesses and economics go through this cycle. Now, the length of time spent in each phase varies. You ask, there are 4 major phases in a business cycle. Okay, so you have to state and explain one of each of those phases. So 4 phases, state and explain one each. St. Louis.
The expansion phase. In this phase, GDP grows. There is low rate of unemployment. The businesses in these sectors, business in these sectors also grows. There is an increase in national growth as well.
That's correct for 3 points.
Okay. So we have the contraction.
Have I called you? Michael, go ahead.
So we have the contraction, depression, or the recession stage. This is the stage where GDP falls as unemployment increases.
You are very straight to the point. I like that. Correct for 3 points. Opoku, Ware.
So we want to talk about the peak. So this is the highest point of the economic cycle or the business cycles. So at this point, employment is at its highest level, economic growth is at its highest level, and production of goods and services are at their highest level. So further production of goods and services and further employment will lead to explosion.
That's correct for 3 points. Yes, UPSHS. Lydia.
Recession. So in a recession level, the GDP is at its lowest level, and then unemployment rises.
Is that a final answer?
In a recession level, GDP is at its lowest level, and unemployment, there is high unemployment.
I'm not accepting that. You see, I said it. I said it. No bonus. Okay, so a school mentioned the recession stage, right? Yeah, so Accra Academy mentioned. The last one is the trough. Okay, all right. Next set of questions. General preamble. GDP is the total monetary value of all final goods and services in an economy. Okay, usually within a year or a quarter, they just read the budget. I believe you listened to it. Okay, so GDP, even though it's a very good measure of economic welfare, it has some limitations. So your ask here is to tell me one limitation and, in your own understanding, briefly explain that limitation. One limitation of GDP as a measure of economic growth, and briefly explain. St. Louis.
The composition of their production. Taking country X and Y, country X has $200 million of GDP growth, like that's its GDP, and country Y has $100 million GDP. A mere person might think country X is doing better than country Y, but what if in country X their major production is in military goods and services instead of consumer goods and services, bringing not like, which doesn't benefit the country. And what if country X is always in wars and yes.
Wars and yes. I'll accept that. Correct for 3 points. Yeah, that's a very brilliant point. Very brilliant. Thank you. Yes, Accra Academy.
Okay, so GDP does not account for income distribution in the economy. Rather, in a way that it doesn't like show how each sector of the economy produces goods to meet the overall growth of the economy, but rather the overall monetary goods produced in the economy.
Give me the point again.
It does not account for income distribution in the economy.
The explanation.
So it does not show how the various sectors of the economy produces goods, but rather the overall monetary value of goods produced in the economy.
Okay, so I'll give you 2 out of 3. The reason is because when we talk about income distribution, you're talking about how the GDP is spread among the normal citizens, right? How income is redistributed. We are not talking, what you're talking about is sectorial contribution to the GDP, not income distribution across the sectors. Opoku Ware.
Okay, so we will talk about the fact that GDP does not consider all the goods and services. This is because some goods and services are consumed after production. For example, the producers, some consume the goods. So if they produce the goods, the ones which they consume are not added to the GDP. And then also, to solve this, we will, so the GDP should not consider intermediaries.
I accept that, yes. GDP is final market values. So consumption is not included, and it's a limitation. That's correct for 3 points. UPSA. Hey, sorry. UPSHS, rather. Yeah. I know you people from Cape Coast. Okay. All right, go ahead.
So it does not show the income inequality of citizens in the country. This is because when a country has a higher GDP, it averages every citizen's per capita income, showing that it doesn't show that one has a better standard of, an individual has a better standard of living to that of other individuals.
That's correct for 3 points. Okay. Next set of questions. General preamble. We all know what a contract is, right? An agreement between 2 or more people that is enforceable by law. Okay. Now, before a contract is accepted in laws in Ghana, even if it is the common law, in the equity law, before a contract is accepted, it has to have some prerequisites, or what we call general foundational conditions for a valid contract. Okay. So your question here is, there are various principles. You have to give me one, explain it. And if you can add some example, I'll be happy, but I'll not mark that. Give me and explain it, okay, how it makes a contract valid. St. Louis.
For a contract to be valid, it must have a consideration. Consideration refers to the benefit or the loss that each party faces in a contract. The consideration shouldn't be something of the past. It should be legal. And an example is a contract to buy goods from China. Here, the seller receives the goods and the vendor in China receives the money. This is legal, but another example is a contract to kill someone. This is an illegal act, so therefore, this kind of contract will not be valid.
Thank you very much. Correct for 3 points. Your example. Accra Academy.
Okay, offer and acceptance. So, if you talk about offer, that's when someone proposes, let's say in a business terms, to the other, asking the other person to deal with him. So let's say Mr. A wants Mr. B to purchase his goods. He enters into contract by offering him the number of goods he wants Mr. B to buy. And Mr. B intends accepts, making the contract valid. Without acceptance, the contract is invalid.
Come again. Listen to what you said. When you're saying listen to it, I said, come again. I didn't say change your answer. Come again, but go ahead. You said offer and acceptance. Come again.
So, offer and acceptance.
Okay, so an offer is a formal invitation to enter into a valid contract. And then acceptance refers to agreement to an offer made. So before there is offer and acceptance, there should be an offeror and an offeree. An offeror is the person that makes the proposal, and then an offeree accepts the contract, making it binding on him.
You see, your coaches, I should look for your coaches. Okay. All right, that's correct for 3 points. When you are answering a question, I said, give it to me and define it. So offer and acceptance. You define offer, you define acceptance, and how the two make a contract binding. That's correct. Okay. All right. Opoku Ware.
Okay, there must be contractual capacity. That is, all parties of the contract must be of a legal age to enter into the contract by the law, and they should be of sound mind or have no mental disorder. And the body corporate who cannot partake.
I accept that. Correct for 3 points. UPSHS.
So legality of a contract. It's when the subject matter of the contract is legal. And also when an illegal subject matter is not binding, that is, it's not enforceable in the law courts. Example, contract with an employer to evade taxes. It is illegal.
Yes, for a contract to be binding, it must first be legal. Correct for 3 points. So you see, your example is an example of an illegal contract, not consideration. That's why I laughed. Okay, all right. Next set of questions. Okay, I'm going to give you some terms, okay? You have to define the terms in your best understanding. Some terms, define them. All right. So,
in demand and supply. It deals with the changes in exchange rates and interest rate risks, and market risks is a risk that occurs as a result of the changes in demand and supply, causing price fluctuations.
Correct for 3 points. Accra Academy. Your term is liquidity risk.
Liquidity risk is the risk that is resulted from the firm's inability to meet short-term funds as readily as possible.
Correct for 3 points. Opoku Ware. Explain company-specific risk.
Which affects a specific company, and then it is measured using beta. And so the company risk is also undivisible, since it is a systematic risk affecting a specific company. So we look at it as the part of the market risk which affects a specific company. So not...
I accept that. Don't be saying it is a market risk. Okay, market risk is a whole different concept. So it is not a market risk. Okay, that is why it is called company-specific risk. Okay, UP, volatility.
Volatility risk is a risk that occurs as a result of price fluctuations in the market.
That's correct for 3 points. All the schools should mention fluctuations. Yes, start from you. Mention the term. Mention it.
Fluctuations.
Yes.
Fluctuations.
Yes.
Fluctuations.
Okay.
Fluctuations.
Yo. Last set of questions for the round. St. Louis. Let's explain some terms, okay? Let's end it well. I wanted to do something, but let's explain some terms. Explain cross-price elasticity of demand. Explain, not define, explain.
Cross-price elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of a change in demand of two commodities that are related due to a change in price in one commodity. It is calculated by, the formula is calculated by either the ARC formula or the point formula. It's calculated using the formula percentage change in commodity X over percentage change in commodity Y. And yes, a positive calculation means it's a substitute, or they are substitutes of each other. A negative means they are complementary, and a zero means they are not related.
1 out of 3. I'll tell you why later. 1 out of 3. Accra Academy. Own price elasticity of demand.
So, own price elasticity of demand is a degree of responsiveness of changes. It's a degree of responsiveness of quantity demanded of a commodity as a result of changes in the price of the commodity in question.
Explain, you've defined. I told you, right? Yeah. 2 out of 3. Opoku Ware. Income elasticity of demand.
Okay, so income elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness of quantity demanded to a change in the income of a consumer. And then for this one, the formula is proportionate change in quantity quantity demanded over proportionate change in income times the P, then times the Y, times the initial income over the initial quantity demanded, and this is the point elasticity of income. This is the point elasticity of income. So when you are finding the income elasticity of demand, you can use this method, or you can also use the ARC or midpoint formula. That one will be the percentage change in quantity demanded over the percentage change in income times the sum of the first income and then the second income, which is the initial and the second income, all on the quantity, which all of the sum of the two quantities too, which is the first and the second one, and then.
Thank you very much. 2 out of 3. I'll tell you why. Okay, it's not a plain English. UP, explain what we mean by elasticity.
So elasticity is the degree of responsiveness of a change in quantity demanded as a result of change in price of the commodity itself, change in price of other related commodities, and also the change in income of the consumer.
Is that a final answer?
No, please. And the formula for the price elasticity is a percentage change in the quantity demanded over the percentage change in the price of the commodity.
No. I'm not accepting that. Now listen to the question. I said define what?
Elasticity.
I didn't say of anything. Why are you defining price elasticity? What is elasticity?
I didn't define.
You didn't what?
I didn't define price elasticity.
No, you said elasticity is the degree of responsiveness of a change in quantity demanded. Immediately you bring demand, you are changing elasticity. I said elasticity. So it is the degree of responsiveness of one thing to a change in another thing, and that is elasticity. Okay? When we say of demand, then we go into the quantity demanded, the price, and then you are explaining somebody's point. All right. So I'm not accepting that. The rest of you, I said explain. I didn't say define and give me formula. Explain. So to the layman, like basically, what is price elasticity of? What does it mean? When your mother asks you, Makoti BBO, price elasticity, what is it? Then I can't tell the degree or no work there. Okay, so this brings us to the end of round 1. Clap for the schools, they've done very well. We await our scores for round 1. So if you have some prayer to pray like St. Louis, start praying. Okay, so as we await our scores, let me hear from my contestant because I'll not see some of them till the contest ends. There'll be substitutions very soon. That's what I mean. I'm not saying they are going home. So, UP, you began with God. How is it going?
Oh, it's going well, but I expect that Kavod is approaching.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, yeah, I'm expecting it. Yes, Opoku Ware.
So we thank God that you have gotten this far, and indeed, God is the light of our knowledge.
Indeed. Michael or Jonathan, who is taking it? Michael, let's go.
Expect victory.
Expect victory. Man of very few words. St. Louis.
God is still with us.
Emmanuel. God is with us. Okay, so I understand some schools want to effect a substitution. Opoku Ware. All right, so you can go ahead. Thank you very much for joining us in Team Chumesi. Hoping to see you when I see you. Okay, thank you very much. Who is coming? All right, let's clap for him as he leaves the stage. He's done very, very well. Okay. Who do you have for Opoku Ware?
My name is Joel Nchasamo.
Joel. You are welcome, Joel. All right. Listen to the scores for round 1. At the end of round 1, the following are your scores. St. Louis, 19. Accra Academy, 18. Opoku Ware, 19. UP, 14. Interesting, very simple case, okay? You have to listen to the case and give me the specific answer I'm looking for. Listen to the case and produce answer to the question. Are we okay? I'm starting from St. Louis again. St. Louis. Is that your name? Emanuela. Okay. Emanuela has invested in a reputable consumer goods company and plans to keep the shares for at least 10 years. She believes the company would continue to grow steadily, and she prefers to avoid frequent trading. She rarely checks short-term price movements and focuses on the company's long-term fundamentals. Her goal is wealth accumulation over a long period. Now, these are the questions. 2 questions. 1, which investment strategy is Akosua using? And 2, does this strategy meet her investment needs? So keep the question. I'm going to read the preamble. All of you, those will be your questions, okay? The question is, which investments are they doing? And are they, so which investment strategy is the person practicing? And does the strategy meet her need? And you have to tell me why. I mean, you cannot just say no. Okay, so I'm reading your case again. Akosua Emanuela is investing or has invested in a reputable consumer goods company and plans to keep the shares for at least 10 years. She believes the company will continue to grow steadily, and she prefers to avoid frequent trading. She rarely checks short-term price movements and focuses on the company's long-term fundamentals. Her goal is wealth accumulation over a long period. So, my answers. You already know the questions.
The sector, the type of question A is sector investing, which involves long-term.
For all the schools, I'll not do this again. I'm being very lenient. I said the question is, which investing strategy is she using? And 2, does this strategy meet her investment needs? Now I'm taking my answers. I didn't say you are wrong, go. I'm just repeating the question.
The investing strategy is equity funds and sector investing. And yes, it addresses her investment needs, but she has to regularly check and not only focus on the company's long-term fundamentals.
I'm now setting that bonus. UP.
So the investment strategy is buy and hold. And then, yes, it meets its financial needs. That is, when you buy and hold for a long time, over time, the value of the shares will increase.
I accept that. Accra Academy. Jonathan relies on steady income streams from his investment to cover living expenses. He selects stocks of companies that consistently pay dividends, such as banks and utility firms. Even if the share prices does not rise significantly, the dividend payment provides him regular cash flows. His primary goal is income rather than capital gains. So which investing strategy is he using, and that the strategy meets his investment needs? I said it. I knew it. So wait for it to be declared a bonus. Are you the marker? Are you the examiner? I'm not accepting that. You didn't even say anything. Okay, so bonus. Okay, Esther. Now Tia.
Value investing. No, because it doesn't address the needs because it doesn't provide liquidity in a short time.
Dividend investing, and yes, it does. So 0 minus 1. It's a bonus, right? They've been changing rules, you see. Okay, no minus. My apologies. All right, so no minus for this round. Okay. Opoku Ware. AC invests in a fast-growing technology startup that is expected to double revenue over the next 5 years. The company does not pay dividends, but AC expects the stock price to increase significantly. She is willing to take on more risk for potential higher returns. Her goal is to maximize capital appreciation over the medium term. So your question is, which investment strategy is she using, and does this strategy meet her investment needs?
Okay, so the investment strategy is value investing, and it meets her needs.
This is because she's investing in undervalued stocks and undervalued stocks and expecting them to increase as time goes on.
I'm not accepting that. So I understand yesterday there were no bonuses in this round. So whoever answered the bonus, unfortunately, I have to look for another place to give you the mark. Cancelled, all right? Okay. You know this. Okay, so that's it. So that's not correct. That's actually not correct. UP. Yao notices that a well-established industry company shares are trading far below its estimated intrinsic value due to temporary market pessimism. Now, he buys the shares expecting that the market value will eventually recognize its true worth. He is patient and focuses on buying undervalued shares rather than following market trends. His goal is to earn returns by capitalizing on market inefficiencies. Which investment strategy, and does this strategy meet his needs or his goal?
So it's value investing, and it meets his goal. And in value investing, you buy low and you're expected to sell it high at a higher price.
I accept that. Yes, that's correct for 3 points. So that's value investing. You all kept saying value investing, value investing, value investing. You really like that type of investing. Okay. So that's it for the first set of questions. Next set of questions. Okay. Esther invested heavily in a manufacturing company that recently announced a major lawsuit over defective products. A court injunction has halted part of the company's operations, causing revenues to drop. Management also admitted that its new product lines has failed to meet sales expectations. Amma is now worried that the company's poor performance will affect her returns. Your questions: what type of risk is Amma facing? And state one way in which she can reduce the risk.
Amma is facing operational risks, and a way she can reduce it is to diversify her portfolio and not to invest heavily in only one firm.
I accept that. Correct for 3 points. Business or operational risks. That is correct. Michael owns shares in several banks listed in Ghana Stock Exchange. After a sudden rise in inflation and interest rates, overall investor confidence fell sharply. As a result, the entire market experienced declining share prices, even though his banks were still performing well. Now, Michael's portfolio value has significantly fallen despite the company's strong fundamentals. What type of risk is Michael facing, and state one way in which he can reduce this risk?
Michael is facing market risk, and then one strategy is diversification. He could spread his investments across portfolios. He could do it 20% in mutual funds, 40% in stocks, and he could do it 30% in mutual funds, 20% in stocks, and he could invest in a number of...
Correct for 3 points. So yes, diversification is the solution, and it is market risk, and that is correct for 3 points. I don't know which percentages he was trying to use, because I mentioned his name, so he was proving the money is his. All right, yes, Opoku Ware, Samuel, purchased shares of a small technology startup that is not frequently traded on the exchange. Okay. When he decided to sell, he found out that very few buyers So he found out there are very few buyers, causing his shares to remain unsold for weeks. And few offers were far below the market price. So he now realizes that exiting this investment may take longer and cost more than expected. What type of risk is he facing? And one way he can reduce this risk.
He's facing liquidity risk. And one way he can risk is by which provide short-term liquidity.
That's correct for 3 points. Kingsley bought shares in a mining company whose price moves widely whenever international gold prices change. Within 1 week, the share prices jumped by 15% and then dropped by 20% after global commodity news turned negative. Although the company is stable, these rapid price swings make it difficult for Kingsley to plan his investment strategy. Now, he's concerned about the unpredictability or market fluctuations, as you all mentioned. Now, the question, what type of risk is Kingsley facing, and one way to mitigate this risk?
So it's a global risk, and ways you can mitigate it is through diversification of your portfolio.
Any other answer? I'm not accepting that.
Market risk.
That is also not correct. Volatility risk. Fluctuations, okay. All right. Next set of questions. St. Louis, in Kumasi, rising consumer incomes have led people to spend more on goods and services than businesses can produce. Supermarkets and stores report shortages, and prices for essential items like foods and housing are skyrocketing or climbing higher. The central bank observes that aggregate demand is outpacing supply in several key factors. So all of you, your question, what type of inflation is this? And suggest one policy, either monetary or fiscal, that can be used to reduce this inflation.
So the type of inflation is demand pull inflation, and the policy that can be used to mitigate is let's go into the fiscal. I'm diving into fiscal policy is increase in production to be able to meet demand. So building more jobs to be able, that produces these goods and services to be able to meet the demand of the demand of the people. Especially in agricultural sector.
Two out of three. I'll tell you why later. 2 out of 3. Accra Academy.
The type. I thought you said the plan was one of us.
A sudden rise in international oil prices, your case. A sudden rise in international oil prices increases transport and production costs for Ghanaian firms. Companies pass these higher costs to consumers, causing prices of goods and services to rise. Now, even though consumer demand has not changed, overall price levels increases, affecting households and businesses. What type of risk? One way to mitigate it. What type of inflation, rather, and one way to reduce this inflation?
So the type of inflation is cost push inflation. And then one way to mitigate it is to provide subsidies for local producers to be able to produce more, to expand their capital to regional.
I accept that. Correct for 3 points. Opoku Ware. Someone notices that the money in his bank account buys less than it did a year ago. Prices for goods, transport, and utilities have all increased, while his nominal income remains the same. He finds himself in a very difficult situation to maintain his previous standard of living. Your question: how has inflation affected Kofi's purchasing income? And suggest one way in which we can protect his savings from inflation. How has the inflation affected his purchasing power, and suggest one way in which he can protect himself against this inflation?
So the inflation has reduced his purchasing power, and one way to save his money from this inflation is by investing in mutual funds, which will provide
So because inflation has reduced his purchasing power, he is unable to purchase the quantities of goods and services that he used to purchase. And then his nominal income is the same. This is because prices of goods and services are rising. And then
to safeguard his income, to safeguard his money, he must invest in the money market, which will provide him returns which are at par with the current price level.
1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. I'll tell you why. Okay. UP. In a small town, Kotokraba, price of basic goods like rice, bread, and fuel are rising daily. Okay. People rush to buy products as soon as they receive money, fearing that tomorrow's prices will be even higher. Banks are increasing interest rates rapidly, but wages are not keeping up, creating severe economic instability. What type of inflation is this? And suggest one way or one measure which the government can use to reduce this inflation. You've been bailed out, so that is a hyperinflation, okay? That's hyperinflation. So that means everything is going up. Giddy, giddy, giddy. So what can they do? One measure the government can use is to implement strict policies, monetary policy, fiscal policies, to reduce the monetary flow, okay? Because there's too much money in the system, so he has to stabilize this by reducing the money supply and all that. Okay. Next set of questions, and yours, right? So inflation, when inflation hits somebody's pocket, what happens is that his real income reduces, and that's why I gave it to you. But you didn't, that's the only thing I heard. Because I already said purchasing power is reduced, and we repeated that. Okay, so his real income has fallen down, all right? So he cannot buy the things that he intended to buy. How does he mitigate this? One way is to invest. You mentioned invest, but what you are mentioning, it is inflation that has affected his income. So you should invest in things that are not affected by inflation. Okay? So you think like that, and then you produce answers next time. Next set of questions. Esther recently graduated from university with a degree in accounting. Okay? She is actively looking for her first job and has applied to several firms but hasn't received any offers yet. Meanwhile, companies are searching for qualified candidates to fill entry-level positions. The period between her finishing her studies and starting work represents a gap, even though jobs are available in the market. Now, your question. You see, I'm hearing things. I don't want to hear them. Your question. The type of unemployment, you have to tell me the type of unemployment she's facing, okay? And suggest one way in which this type of unemployment can be reduced.
So the type of unemployment is frictional unemployment, and it can be reduced by creating an effective communication between job seekers and between companies and job seekers. Employers who seek for employees and employees who seek for employers, and also research. The employees should research more on the internet and read more newspapers to be able to know the available companies.
I accept that. Correct for 3 points. Blow. A textile factory in Kumasi closed down because it could not compete with imported cheaper fabrics. Okay, many workers skilled in textile production now find their skills no longer in demand. Even though other industries are hiring, these workers lack the required training, okay, for available jobs. Look at me, don't look anywhere, look at me. The mismatch between their skills and market demand has left them unemployed for an extended period. What type of unemployment, and they suggest one way in which this type of unemployment can be reduced.
Okay, so the type of unemployment is structural unemployment. And then the way it can be reduced is by embarking on advertising, and embarking on promotions.
Is that a final answer?
Yes.
Okay, so how will somebody's promotion cannot solve this case, okay? The guy doesn't have the skills, and there are jobs available. So if he wants to be employed, he should go and update his skills. So training, those type of things, to get him skilled up, because his skill does not match. So he has to go and upskill himself to match the available job. I'm not accepting promotions because I don't know how, and he didn't do a good job explaining how to me. Opoku Ware. During an economic downturn, several construction companies in Accra have reduced their operations due to declining demand of housing. Many construction workers have been laid off temporarily. Government observes that the drop in spending and investment is affecting jobs across multiple sectors, including manufacturing and services. Workers are willing and able to work, but the economy cannot support full employment. You ask, what type of unemployment is this? And suggest one way in which this unemployment can be reduced.
Okay, so the type of unemployment is cyclical unemployment. And the way this type of unemployment can be reduced
is by learning a lot of trades or essential services which cannot be done away with. So learning essential services.
And then the central bank can also decrease or reduce the interest rate. This will increase since this will help consumers borrow from the bank, and then they can consume more of the goods. The cyclical unemployment is a general decline. So when they have enough money, they can now consume the goods and services.
Yeah, I accept that. I actually accept that. What you were saying, no. But yes, if they reduce the interest rate, it will encourage borrowing and spending, and yeah, I accept that. UP, fishermen in the Volta region can only work during specific fishing seasons due to weather patterns and fishing migration. During the off-season, many are temporarily unemployed, despite being willing and able to work. So operators and agricultural laborers face similar patterns with peak demand at certain times of the year. Now, what type of unemployment is this, and suggest one way in which this type of unemployment can be reduced?
It's seasonal unemployment, and it can be reduced by the farmers or the fishermen taking direct initiative to either create an artificial water body in order to produce.
I accept that. Correct for 3 points. Next set of questions. Next set of questions. A minute. That's me. You know the thing, you've prepared. You don't need anybody down there to give you the answer, all right? Okay, let's be very, very straightforward and fair over here. Okay, so this is just a warning. And to the teachers, you know the right thing, okay? Okay. Next set of questions. Kwesi offered to sell his motorbike to Ama for goods. Sorry. Kwesi offered to sell his motorbike to Ama for 5,000 cedis. Ama replied, please listen, okay? I will think about it and let you know next week. 2 days later, Kwesi sold his bike to someone else. Ama now claims that they had an agreement and wants the bike. Your question, what element of a valid contract is in question here, and how could this issue be avoided?
The essential element is offer and acceptance. Ama didn't give a direct answer. She didn't give a straightforward answer. She gave kind of like, I'll think about it answer, which is not the right answer to an acceptance. She didn't accept it. She only said she would think about it. Yes, and it can be avoided by saying the true state or the true accepting it.
Exactly. As simple as that. If she accepts this thing, everything would have been not happened. Yes, so correct for 3 points. Okay, correct for 3 points. Accra Academy. Ama, age 16, signed a contract to buy a car from a dealer. When she failed to make payment, the dealer tried to enforce the contract in court. Ama argued that she is too young to enter into a binding contract, even though she entered into it in the first place. Question, which essential element of a valid contract is in question, and how could this issue be avoided?
Element is capacity to contract. And then how it could be avoided is Ama is a minor, and then she's only binded to necessaries and then beneficiaries.
That's a final answer.
And then for a person to be able to enter into a contract, the person should be 18 years and above.
So he didn't tell me how the issue should be avoided, okay? 2 out of 3. Clap for them. They are doing well. It's not easy. Opoku Ware. Samuel entered into a contract to supply counterfeit brand name shoes to a local retailer. The retailer failed to pay, and Kwame Samuel sued for breach of contract. The court refused to enforce the contract because the agreement was of an illegal purpose. Now, which element of a valid contract is in question, and how could this issue have been avoided?
Legality, and this could be avoided by doing due diligence. Sorry.
Please, what was that?
This could be avoided by doing proper due diligence.
Due diligence, yes, correct for 3 points. UP. AC promised to give her friend Kojo 1,000 cedis as a gift. Later, Kojo refused to accept the money, claiming it was part of a contract. AC argued that there was no exchange of value, so no contract existed. Which essential element of a valid contract is in question, and how could this issue have been avoided? Please, I can't come again.
Okay, so it's a consideration. So in a contract, you should provide something in exchange for something of value in exchange for a promise. Requested and given in exchange for a promise, but Kofi didn't provide anything in exchange for that promise.
How could it be avoided? 2 out of 3. So simply, it was not a contract, okay? So how they should agree, clarify whether it's an agreement, that agreement is legally binding or not. They should ensure that both parties understand their obligation, like how could they avoid the thing? Not explaining the problem, okay? All right. Next set of questions. St. Louis. Kwesi agreed to supply 500 bags of rice to a supermarket by 1st December. On 30th November, he notified the supermarket that he could only deliver 300 bags due to transport problems. The supermarket refused partial delivery and claimed damages. The question here, what legal issue is illustrated in this case? And suggest one remedy.
The legal issue is breach of contract, and the suggesting a remedy to it is them suing or claiming for damages from Kwesi.
Correct for 3 points. Amma agreed, Accra Academy. Amma agreed verbally with her cousin to sell her bicycle for 200 cedis. A week later, Amma's cousin refused to pay, claiming they were just joking. And there was no real intention to create a legal relationship. Now, Amma wanted the court to enforce the agreement. So, Accra Academy, which essential element of a valid... Listen to the question. I didn't say you are having the same question. Which essential element of a valid contract is in question, and how could this issue be avoided?
Intention to create legal... What? Intention to create legal relation, and then Amma could sue for damages.
Intention to create legal relation. And in this case, Amma can't sue her cousin for breach of contract because there was no agreement between the two of them.
Okay. Did you hear the question? I said, how could the issue have been avoided? I didn't say what was the remedy. I said, listen to the question. So yes, the intention to create legal relations, relations is correct. Yes, laugh and come and sit here. Relations is correct, okay? So that is 2. But you didn't give us how to solve the situation. So 2 out of 3, okay? So she could document, she should avoid she should avoid jokes, okay? Unnecessary jokes. She should document anytime they are joking and let them sign the joke and those type of things, making it a contract, right? Okay. Opoku Ware, you were laughing. We'll see. AC hired a contractor to renovate a house for 10,000 cedis, with work due to be completed in 3 weeks. The contractor abandoned the work after 2 weeks, leaving the project unfinished. AC hired another contractor to complete the renovation at a higher cost. Now the question is, what legal remedy is most appropriate in this case? And suggest one ways in which the parties can reduce dispute over damages in court.
So she should sue the previous contractor for damages. and how the party can avoid unnecessary damages is by fulfilling their obligations in a contract.
Okay. So, yes, she can what? Sue for damages, okay? And you didn't answer my second question. I said suggest one way in which the parties can reduce damages in court, disputes over damages. I didn't ask you that question, you just provided the answer to. So yes, 2 out of 3. Next question. Kingsley agreed to sell a rare painting to a collector. After receiving a deposit, he refused to deliver the painting, claiming he found a higher offer. The collector wants the court to compel Kingsley to hand over the painting instead of accepting money as compensation. So, what legal remedy is being sought here? And suggest one way this type of contract could have been prevented, or this type of dispute could be prevented.
So the court should sue me for specific performance. And this kind of action could be so inability of the party to perform his or her obligations in a contract.
You are done. Okay, so yes, specific performance. But I said suggest one way in which the dispute could have been prevented. So just say that they should include clauses, they should do what they are meant to do, like suggest ways. People are not giving me the answer, I don't know why. So 2 out of 3. Last set of questions for this round. St. Louis, a fund manager a fund manager at a Ghanaian investment firm received confidential information about an upcoming merger between 2 companies off or on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Excited about the potential profits, the manager buys shares at the target company for their personal portfolio before the news went to the public. However, the merger failed due to regulatory issues, leading to a stock price drop. Now, the question is, evaluate the ethical implications of the fund manager's action. So you have to tell me what ethical issue are we talking about, and just evaluate. Just give me an answer. Let me see. So evaluate the ethical implications of that action. Yeah.
Okay, so the fund manager, first of all, acted on an unpublished information, which he has not acted on the integrity of the company. So he failed the integrity of the company. Yes. And there is no independence and objectivity here.
Okay. All right. I can accept that. But what I wanted you to say, it's correct, okay? But there's no straightforward answer. But here, what we're talking about is a term known as insider dealing or insider trading. Have you heard it before? All right, so that is what is going on here. And it has several ethical implications and can lead to being sued in court. It can lead to him losing his job, all of those things. So sometimes I expect you to go further. But yeah, I accept that. Correct for 3 points. Accra Academy. A small Ghanaian startup seeks funding through the Ghana Stock Exchange but struggles with high listing fees and compliance requirements. Instead, they opt for a collective investment scheme, CIS, managed by a licensed fund pooling resources from young investors. The fund invests in the startup's equity, yielding 15% returns in the first year, but facing volatility due to market downturn. So you have to tell me the advantages, at least 2 of the advantages, and 1 risk of using CIS for startup funding from the perspective of the investor. You have to tell me what? Two advantages and one risk of using CIS. Okay.
The advantage, access to large capital, and then affordability. The risk is liquidity risk. Because most collective investment schemes consist of long-term securities.
I'll accept that. And that is the exact risk he's facing now in the market. Okay, he's unable to trade it due to liquidity challenges. So I can accept that. Opoku Ware, the board of a Ghana Stock Exchange listed bank approves a CEO's proposal to expand into digital banking without independent review, leading to cybersecurity breaches and 20% drop in share prices. Shareholders demand accountability, citing poor oversight from the board. So you are to assess two corporate governance issues or failures in the decision making. Two corporate governance failures in this decision making.
Okay, so the first one is disclosure and transparency. And then the second one is the independence of the board of directors.
Is that a final answer?
And also the...
Explain. What did you do? Thank you. 2 out of 3. UP, the last set of questions for this round. During an economic boom in Ghana, consumer spending rises sharply, leading to a 5% inflation rate. The Bank of Ghana responds by increasing interest rates to 18%, affecting mortgage borrowers who see monthly payments rise by 500 on average. Taking it again, please listen, there's noise in the hall. During an economic boom in Ghana, consumer spending rises sharply, leading to a 5% inflation rate. The Bank of Ghana responds by increasing interest rates to 18%, affecting mortgage borrowers who see monthly payments rise by 500 on average. So you have to simply tell me two monetary policy responses that the Bank of Ghana can use to recommend two monetary policies that the Bank of Ghana can use to mitigate this situation. Yeah.
Open market operation and directives.
Okay, explain.
So
how?
So for the open market operation, the Bank of Ghana can reduce inflation by selling, by buying more treasury bills, so that it can take enough money. They will sell more treasury bills so that it can take more money from the public to reduce the supply of money. And then directives, it's an order to commercial banks to limit customers' deposits.
Okay, I accept that. Yes, so they sell, okay, they don't buy. When they buy, they are giving more money, which will rather push inflation up, so they sell. All right, so that brings us to the end of this round. Please, let's give it to them. They've done very, very well. And clap for me. I'm doing so well. 30 points for myself. I've done very well. Yeah. I mean, I'm very good. Okay, so as we await the scores for this round, is there any substitution from any school? Okay, so you are stuck with me. We are going into the investment simulation, right? Yeah, so the simulation, okay, so a minute. Okay, so I'll see you soon.
As night fades out, faded by the sun, 10,000 men stand high on the hill. Allow silence as the years still. 10,000 men trample for the kill. The vultures fly, the wind is high. The warrior fights, the battle of fall. The scavengers wait, each man does hate. Death is late, the battle of fall. Hosa, hosa, ho. 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 Maybe searching, sitting on their own. Each one thinking, who is coming home? As tears clashing, streaming through the air. Each one shivers in their heart is fear. The vultures fly, the wind is high. The warrior fights, the battle of fall. The scavengers wait, each man does hate. Death is late, the battle of fall. Hosa, hosa, ho. Hosa, hosa, ho. Hosa, hosa, ho. Hosa, hosa, ho. Hosa, hosa, ho.
In stocks by simulating real-world stock market scenarios. So this is, yes, we know you've practiced. You know the Ghana Stock Exchange, you know this, shares, bonds. We want you to know how does it feel practically doing it, okay? So participants here are to manage virtual portfolios, analyze financial data, and make strategic investment decisions in a risk-free environment. Risk-free in the sense that nobody seated over there will lose any amount of money when you lose on the PC. Okay, so feel free and take risks, okay, because it's risk-free. All right, so the objective here is to build financial literacy and understanding of stock markets, to develop analytical and critical thinking skills, to encourage strategic decision-making and risk management, also to inspire long-term investment mindset among young people. So we expect that by the time you are done, you will develop some interest. This is just, a foundational something. Develop an interest and build on it, okay? So this round bridges theory and practice, and then it prepares students to navigate the financial market and make informed financial choices very confidently. So I believe in all of you. I'm seeing new faces, but maybe when I come back, you introduce yourselves, okay? So give it your best. Take risks, but bleo. I'll see you very soon. Have a nice time.
Okay, thank you very much, our able quizmaster. So, simulation round, and then we are going to do a simple exercise before we can start, right? Okay, so as we discussed earlier, they all know what the simulation round is about. They understand the rules of the game, right? So this is what we are going to do. We can see that so far we had 106 total traders trading on the platform. So we are going to reset it now. Okay, thank you. So now there is no one trading on the platform. So this is what you're supposed to do. Create a new account using your school's name. Create a new account using your school's name. So we can all see the leaderboard. We have UPSHS, we have Accra Academy, we have Opoku Ware, and we have Louise. So this is what we are going to do. The market is closed now. Once the market is opened, you have 15 minutes to trade and then increase your portfolio. So the market is open now. You can start trading.
Okay. Thank you all very much. Aren't you entertained? Let's clap for all the schools. I mean, if most of us come and sit here, +4, Charlie, even the best of the best, you can still get negative. Okay, so they've done very well. No matter what you had, it's a trade, okay? It's a trade. So anything can happen in the market, right? You getting negative doesn't really mean you didn't do well. Just that the market beat you, okay? So next time, learn to beat the market. So we have 4 schools doing this simulation, and we have St. Louis SHS coming up on top with at least +4. Yeah, we can say +4. We have UP with a positive 0.25. Okay. Opoku Ware with a negative 0.4. And Accra Academy with a negative 14. So as we all know, right? Oh, don't worry. I mean, they've done well. Just that they did well, they're down there. Okay. If I had a scoring, the opportunity to score anyone, whatever you had will be added to your marks. So if you had plus something to be added to your mark, minus something to be less for your marks, I mean. But yeah, that's very good. So we have St. Louis having 10 points because they had the highest, 10 points. UP will get 7 because they also had positive, but lesser than Louis. And who is Sechi? Okay, so the other 2 schools who had negatives will not have any points at this round. But yes, let's clap for all of them. All right, so let's listen to the scores for at the end of round 2. But before that, let me address, we have 2 protests here. Protest number 1, round 1. Okay, so the definition of company risk. Okay, so was it Opoku Ware that said it is a kind of market risk? Were you the ones? Or was it Accra Academy who said it's a kind of market risk, something like that? Opoku Ware. Okay. Now, the reason why I gave you the marks, okay, so the pretext is, even though they've added other details, we challenge that this should not fetch them 3 full points, and I understand why. Because it's a specific rate that normally affects a particular company. On the other hand, market rates affect all companies and the entire market industry. Yeah, I understand that, but I gave them the 3, and the reason is because they said, and if there was a video, probably would help, but what I heard, and that's what they said, is it is a kind of market risk that affects a company. So I can draw a chart and show you, we have the broad market risk, and that is understandable. But the business risk is a market risk, all right, but it affects businesses differently. So I understood it like that, and I gave it to them because the market risk is not the company-specific risk. It's in the market, just that it relates to every company differently. So their definition is technically correct, just that in textbooks and in exam, you just go straight ahead and say it's a unique risk. Don't come and say it's a kind of market risk that affects, that makes your definition some way. But yes, I gave to them 3 points, and I stand by that. The next pretext. The next one is that Accra Academy. So Accra Academy gets their 2 points over there. The answer is actually Structural. Okay. Okay. So that being said, let's listen to the scores for round 2. St. Louis, 17. Only round 2. Okay. 17. Accra Academy, 13. Opoku Ware, 14. UP, 13. So at the end of round 2, the following are the scores. St. Louis, 36. Accra Academy, 31. Opoku Ware, 33. UP, 27. Round 3 scores. Round 3, Opoku Ware, no, so St. Louis, 10. Accra Academy, 0. Right? Opoku Ware, thank you. And UP, 7. Okay, so you can do the tally. We move on to round 4. Now, round 4 is where you show us how you can express yourself. Okay, so we have the investment advisory sessions. We've given you a case, and I'm going to read a case to all of us. Okay, so if you are 3, please become 2. All right, thank you very much. I'll come and see you people to manage my portfolio for me, okay? You'll be doing well. All right, so we are going to do our presentation. The investment advisory session aims to equip students with practical financial knowledge and investment skills. What we are going to do, okay, is we've given you a case. Listen to me. This is where the marks will come from, not there. Listen to me. We've given you a case. You've read a case. You've had your time to prepare. So we are giving you the chance to express yourself. Now, a general advice to all of you. We all know what you know, okay? So your real marks will come from your ability to express, sell the idea to us. Not tell us, because we know we can read. So express yourself. Sell your idea, okay? So we need you to prepare students to be confident and participate in this particular session of the quiz. All right. So we've given you a case. Let me see if I can read a case to all of us before we start the. Do I have the case? Okay. Okay, so I hear those who present are going to talk about the question and all. So maybe in my presentation, I might divulge answers. Okay, so we are going to start our presentations from St. Louis. So if you are ready, I'm ready. Let's give it up to them as they come on stage. Hello, your microphone is here. All right, all the best. So before you start, okay, let me tell you the marking scheme so that you know where the marks will come from. So it's out of 20. I have 15. Okay, so it's out of 15, right? So your ability to deliver the technical knowledge counts. Your ability to express yourself counts. Your confidence, okay? your ability to articulate the English language. You see how I'm speaking? Speak like that. So it also fix you some point, okay? But be confident. Don't be shy. Okay, all the best.
Hello, everybody. I'm Otnela Yabrago Boedu, representing the St. Louis advisory team. At this point, I want you all to note that managing money has gone far more than finances. It's now strategic. The city has been moving as if it's doing backflips. Interest rates have been rising and falling like they're at a wedding reception. And not to talk about the stock market. It has been alternating and moving as if it has beef with us. Let's meet our client. He is a Let's meet our client, a prudent Ghanaian business owner with a diversified portfolio of 500,000 Ghana cedis, seeking stability and growth in uncertain markets. Now, our objective today is to provide accurate, low-cost hedging solutions tailored to Ghana's financial environment. And not only this, we are not only here to present, but we are here to teach you for your financial goals. We've been saying investment portfolio, investment portfolio, investment portfolio. But what at all is an investment portfolio? Well, an investment portfolio has to do with a collection of financial assets, which entails bond, stocks, among others. And what this does is that it is able to achieve growth, income, and manage risk. Moving forward, we are going to the main dish for today, and that is hedging. When we talk about hedging, hedging has to do with protecting your financial assets against potential losses. Many a times, people think hedging is something big, but it has to do with something small, such as insurance. The same way you would insure your car against accident, you can insure your financial assets against potential losses. Moving forward, we are going to talk about our client's dilemma. He is a client who manages a substantial 500,000 Ghana cedis. So, of course, he has exposures to certain risks. And such risks include the currency risk, the equity risk, the interest rate risk, and liquidity risk. And our mission today is to help him shield his portfolio against all these risks. So, moving forward, we are going to talk about the currency risk management. When we talk about currency risks, it has to do with the cedi volatility against foreign currencies, such as the US dollar. Now, the current rate of Ghana cedis to the US dollar is $1 is to 10 cedis, 98 Ghana cedis. And this is the current rate. Again, let's say our cedi weakens to a 12 Ghana cedis is to $1. It's going to increase inflation, therefore eroding purchasing power. And this will not only affect businessmen, but the economy as a whole. Again, during the 2025 budget, our Minister of Finance, Honorable Atoforsen, stated something. He said that the cedi will either appreciate or depreciate by 2. And this is to say that the cedi is not constant. It is either appreciating or depreciating. So there is a risk at hand for all business personnel. And that is why my team and I developed these ways to safeguard your money against such risks. Now, the first one has to do with the forward FX contract. And this is approaching your bank to lock in current exchange rate for future business obligations. Moving forward, we will talk about the strategic asset location. And with this, you hold a portion of your dollar assets in the US dollar bonds of Bank of Ghana. And this has a dual benefit because it approaches and competitive interest while maintaining your currency hedge against cedi depreciation. And lastly, natural hedging. This has to do with the use of dividends and returns from the US dollar investment directly for business-related import payments. And this eliminates conversion costs and timing risks entirely. Let's get into our strategy number 2. And that one has to do with equity market stability. So when we speak about equity risks, it has to do with the unpredictable swings on the Ghana Stock Exchange, which mainly affects consumer and banking sectors of the stock exchange. Now, one way to avert such a risk is the defensive reallocation. you need to note, when it comes to the defensive reallocation, you must study your stock and know the kind of stock that is reliable, even when the market changes. And one example of such stock is the MTN Ghana stocks. Even when the market changes, you are certain that this kind of stock is maintaining certain kind of consistency. Again, the dividend-focused strategy. You have to prioritize at companies that pay constant dividends, that even in market fluctuations, you are certain that, oh, I am getting a fixed income. Again, the stop-loss discipline. It has to do with instructing your broker to place a stop-loss order where automatically your assets will sell when the percentage given reaches. Many of you were thinking, how come St. Louis could win with such low marks at the beginning? Well, let me tell you our secret. It had to do with a stop-loss order. You place in a percentage, and when it gets to the time for your asset to sell, it sells instantly. Again, moving to strategy number 3, the interest rate protection. Now, interest rate either rises or falls as a result of the policy of the central bank, that is the Bank of Ghana. And today we are going to look at such ways to avert such risk. 1, the bond ladgering. It states that you have to diversify across a 91-day, 1-year, and 3-year maturity for regular liquidity. Again, the favor short term. You have to prioritize 91-day and 182-day treasury bill for flexibility and lower price risks. And lastly, the inflation defense. You allocate to the Bank of Ghana index-linked bonds to protect real returns. And this strategy ensures continuous liquidity whilst protecting your purchasing power against inflation. Lastly, we're going to look at the liquidity. Lastly, we are going to look at the liquidity and cash flow management. When we talk about liquidity risks, it has to do with not having ready cash when needed. When we come into our investment world, there are times where investment personnel need money at hand. And if they are not able to get such money, they go into selling their long-term investment. And of course, there is no way someone will sell something to you at a higher price when you need it at the right time. So this brings about potential loss. So to avert such a situation, ways we have come up with includes the portfolio auditing. Now, when we speak about portfolio auditing, it talks about making sure you constantly check your portfolio to make sure if there's a loophole or overexploitation, you deal with it before it becomes a menace to you. Again, you execute strategic trade. That is, you contact a broker like the IC Security to rebalance equity position and establish stop-loss orders. You see, the stop-loss order has come back here again. That means it is very essential to understand that whenever you are selling an equity, while you are making losses. Now, these key matrices are what this implementation does. It reduces volatility. It brings about currency protection, among others. Moving forward, we are going to speak about hedging. Hedging is very essential. As a financial person, you must understand that it is important for you to know hedging to protect yourself against market risk. Because, of course, the risks are there and the risks are coming. And there is nothing you can do to stop it except just protect it. Again, hedging is practical and accessible, meaning you can access it anywhere. It is easy to get it. Again, it can transform your portfolio. It can make your portfolio a resilient and reliable portfolio. To my concluding part, I would say, by implementing these hedging strategies, you not only transform your portfolio into a resilient income-generating asset that actively supports your business growth, but rather, you also not leave it vulnerable to market volatility. This is the end of my presentation, and thank you for lending me your ears. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's keep clapping as my contestants join me. Okay, so Accra Academy, you can prepare. All right. Gentlemen, walk below and join me on stage. Let's clap for them as they join us.
Buen dia in Spanish, good day in English. I'm in the person of Michael Chumesi. We conduct in-depth research to support investment decisions, not based on bourgeois views, like how St. Louis does. Okay. We have a strategy. We have a scenario that needs to be addressed. And then we formulated hedging strategies to protect portfolio value and ensure steady growth. And now the scenario. As a business owner with 500,000 Ghana cedis investment portfolio, spreading across the Ghana Stock Exchange, fixed income securities, a few dollar denominational assets, I am increasingly becoming worried. Do you know why? Do you want to know why? Oh, because of market volatility. You may ask me, what is market volatility? Volatility refers to price fluctuation indicating investment risk. Another person too might ask, what is investment risk? Investment risk refers to the possibility that the return on investment will become less than expected returns. My brother Nobu takes.
So according to our background information that we did, we found out some things that are necessary and important for our clients. The first thing is that the CD swings are eroding the value of the Ghana CD assets. For Ghana CD assets, these are assets that are denominated by the Ghana CDs. And then because the price fluctuations of the Ghana CD, it has led to the eroding of the Ghana CD assets. For the next thing that we're talking about is the interest rates. The interest rates are like the interest that you gain on borrowed money, or you're supposed to pay on borrowed money. And then this has made our bonds unable to be valuable, unable for us to evaluate our bonds. So the next we'll talk about is the GSE volatility. The GSE volatility is the changes in price of the Ghana Stock Exchange market. And then this has affected the banking sectors and then consumer goods such as electronics and then shelter and other consumer goods that are available to you. The next we'll talk about is the business cash flow tightening. The business cash flow is the inability of a business to pay its obligations. And then this has led to liquidity risks. We all know liquidity risks, right? Liquidity risks is the inability to convert assets to ready cash, which is unable for the business owner to pay his obligations. The next thing we'll talk about is, look at our portfolio, 500,000. And then it has a lot of multiple shocks, which include some things like price fluctuations and then interest rates risks. Now, we are coming to look at some practical current economic realities that are facing Ghana right now. We take a look at the first one, is the cedi volatility. That is the fluctuations in the price of the cedi. We wake up today and hear that the cedi is changing, the price of the cedi is changing as compared to the dollar. We all wake up every day and then it changes every day, every hour, and every second. So the next we'll look at is the shifting interest rates. And then this one, it involves interest rates being changing as a result of market situations and things. The next one I'll look at is the GSE price swings. That one, it takes a look at the changes in the price in the GSE market. A practical example is the simulation we just did. Take a look at MTN shares. It changes about every 8 seconds, so it's not reliable. The next thing to look about is the inflation pressure. Inflation is something that reduces the purchasing power of our business owner. And then we all know inflation as the appreciable increase in the price of general goods in the country. But the last we'll look at is the USD asset exposure. This talks about owning USD assets. And then there's a clue about this, that if you own a USD asset, when the cedi depreciates, you gain. But if the cedi appreciates, you lose. Is that clear? So, Jonathan.
Okay. So I would like to talk about the portfolio overview and vulnerability. So if we talk about vulnerability, is the risks associated to an investment? Okay. So I would like to talk about the portfolio overview and vulnerability. So vulnerability simply
refers to the risks associated to an investment an investor wants to embark in. So, so we have our portfolio size to be 500,000 cedi. So assuming our investor wants to invest all his resources into Ghana Stock Exchange equities, he will be exposed to the market risks. And market risks simply means risks associated to price fluctuations, and this is led by demand and supply. Also, assuming he wants to invest all in fixed income, he will be exposed to the rate risks. And the rate risks simply talks about the ability, so the fixed income, if he has, assuming he wants to invest in fixed income, he will be exposed to rate risks. And also, if he wants to invest in USD dollar assets, he will be exposed to foreign exchange risks. And if he wants to venture into a business venture, he will be exposed to liquidity risks. Thank you.
From our research, we were able to come out with some hedging strategies. We have the currency hedging, the equity hedging, the interest rate hedging, and the liquidity hedging. When we talk about the currency hedging simply means mitigating risks of loss from foreign exchange rate fluctuations on the international investment or business transaction. Next one. When we talk about the equity hedging, this simply means reducing the risks of Ghanaian investors on their share price. Take it, for example, of buying a mosquito net. The mosquito net does not prevent you from sleeping. That's its investment, but it rather prevents bites from the mosquito. That's losing. Going further, we have the interest rate hedging. This protects yourself, your loan, your investment from unexpected changes in the interest rate, especially in Ghana, where the interest rate moves sharply. Liquidity hedging. This means having enough money aside so that in case of any emergency, you can refer to that money. You don't have to sell your long-term assets at a loss to take care of those emergencies. Thank you.
Okay, so moving right along with the reliable insights from my colleagues, we have proposed an optimal hedge allocation. So over here, we have the asset class, we have the allocation, the amounts and the rationale behind the allocation. So first of all, we took the USD assets, which are allocated to 20% of our portfolio, and that's 100,000. And this protects us against CD depreciation. Okay, secondly, we took the Ghana T-bills, which are allocated 25% of our portfolio, and that's an amount of 125,000. And this is to help us liquidate our assets when in times of emergency. Moving forward, we also took the GSE blue chip equities. We allocated 20%, which is 100,000, and also that's for long-term going, so you can earn long-term returns in the long run. One may ask, what are blue chip equities? So to enlighten you, we say blue chip equities are securities of large firms that are performing well. Moving forward, we also considered international equities, which we allocated 15% of our 500 portfolio, and that's 75,000, which helps us to diversify outside the Ghanaian market. Also, we considered the gold or commodities, which are allocated 10%, that's 50,000 of our portfolio. And this protects us against inflation and also helps us to withstand global shocks. Next, we took the fixed income bonds, that's 10% of our portfolio, and that helps us to stabilize returns and also provide predictable cash flows. Lastly, we considered the money market fund, which allocated 5%, and that's a list of 25,000 of our portfolio, and that is to help us liquidate and meet short-term obligations. Okay, so as a business owner, there's no doubt that when you consider this portfolio allocation, all you have to do is there's no doubt you make the best out of it. So all you have to do is to hedge strategically, which will help you grow your portfolio steadily and never get caught up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the person of Intim Nana Ochumisi from Akatachi Investments Limited. Now, before I begin, I would like to start with something. A wise trader ties the goods before the market gets noisy. Now, these words I said may seem abstract to the ear, but let me simply lower it down to everyone's understanding. It simply means that we try to protect what you have before there's any chaos in the future. And here, we are going to present not just a presentation, but a story of our client, Mr. Mankwa. Now, Mr. Mankwa is a young man, 32 years of age, a car dealer, in fact, with a portfolio value of 500,000 Ghana cedis, spread across the Ghana Stock Exchange, fixed income securities, and the US dollar assets. Now, Mr. Mankwa came to us telling us that he's worried about trying to develop practical hedging strategies to manage his portfolio. Now, upon several interviews with Mr. Mankwa, we understand that he has a high financial knowledge because he's able to diversify his investments across a portfolio and also worried about the market volatility and to protect his portfolio and moderately grow his wealth. Now, after research and understanding of Mr. Mankwa's situation, we came up with an excellent practical hedging strategy to help protect his portfolio value through intense research analysis on currency risk, equity volatility, interest rate risk, and also adopt a diversified low-cost hedging strategy that protects value while growing, allowing a moderate growth. Now, you've mentioned hedging. What at all is hedging? Hedging are methods used to reduce losses on investment. Basically, it's trying to protect what you have to not make too much of a loss. First, we noticed that Mr. Mankwa faces the currency risk, and to approach this currency risk, we decided that we will keep 25% allocation in stable internationally traded fund. An example is the gold exchange traded fund, which typically rise when currencies fall or depreciate. Now first, I'll explain currency risk. Currency risk is a financial risk that arises due to fluctuations in exchange rates and causes business transactions to result in a loss. Now, the reason we chose the gold exchange traded fund for Mr. Mankwa is because usually you know that when the cedi depreciates, then it will also automatically result in the dollar appreciating. And the gold exchange traded fund supports this in the sense that when the cedi currency falls, the prices of gold increase because gold is traded in US dollar. Then we also notice that he also faces equity market volatility. And with the equity market volatility, simply put, it's just the fluctuations in prices on the Ghana Stock Exchange market. And to mitigate this, we suggested that he uses stop-loss rules. Now, stop-loss rules. Many people have said stop-loss rules. Simply put, they are automatic sell triggers. And this is to the extent of which you want your loss to be sold. So let's say you set a stop-loss of 1,000 Ghana cedis. So when you are incurring a loss and you see immediately it gets to 1,000 Ghana cedis, it automatically sells. That's all. Then we also advise him to diversify across several sectors, which is the agricultural and the manufacturing sector, and not only concentrating in one. Also, we notice that he also faces these interest rate fluctuations or the fixed income risk. And I'm going to explain this. Interest rate risk is the fluctuations in the interest rate due to monetary policies set up by the central bank. So, in order to mitigate this risk, we suggested that he holds a mix of short-term and long-term securities to spread exposure. We advise him to take up government treasury bills ranging from 91 days to 364 days, and just simply to lower risk and liquidity. Now, we also noticed that business cash flow and liquidity protection. Now, liquidity protection may arise when the business has no revenue to face its immediate expenses, and it may think about liquidity issues. Liquidity issues may also arise if business faces revenue delays. It might be, you all face revenue delays in some time. Some teachers may complain of delayed salaries. Business owners might say their debt haven't been paid on time. And to treat this, we decided that we advise him to maintain at least 3 to 6 months of business operating expenses in highly liquid assets, such as the money market funds. And the first one, which we suggested for him, is the data MF fund or the treasury bills. Now, we didn't simply say all this to you to get confused. We also devised a chart to make you understand this. Now, he has a portfolio value of 500,000 Ghana cedis. First, you see the asset class column, then the percentage, then the amount and the purpose. So the asset class, we told him to invest 25% of his 500,000 Ghana cedis, which is 125,000, into gold exchange traded funds. And as I said earlier, when the cedi depreciates, the prices of gold rise, and this benefits him. And this is simply to hedge the currency risk. Now, we move on to treasury bills, ranging from 91 to 182 days. Now, he told him to invest 10% of his portfolio into floating rate notes, and to mitigate interest rate risk, and also bring about diversification, which diversification simply means spreading your investments across your portfolio to reduce risk. Then we also told him to invest 15% of his portfolio value into the money market fund, which we suggested to him earlier, the data MF fund. And this is to buffer liquidity. Simply, I told you earlier that his business faces times where there are delayed revenues. And the money market fund makes him retrieve his money in the most shortest possible point, in the shortest possible time. Now, we also attack the Ghana Stock Exchange fluctuations. And we not only attack this, but we also advise him to set a stop loss. So that's the maximum loss in which he wants his portfolio to sell when it experiences a loss. And we told him to invest 25% of his portfolio value, which is 125,000, into the Ghana Stock Exchange. And this is simply good potential because initially he told us that he wants to moderately grow his wealth. Now, we could move on to the conclusion and moral lessons. All we said here is that we are telling Mr. Mankwa to reduce the cedi risk with the use of gold exchange traded funds, control equity volatility through diversification and setting of a stop loss. 3, limit interest rate exposure by focusing on short-term securities. 4, maintaining liquidity buffers to avoid forced selling of business assets. And 5, use low-cost instruments like the treasury bills and the money market funds. Now, we can learn a lot of things from Mr. Mankwa's life. 1, prepare for the unexpected circumstances. 2, responsibility means protecting what you have. Mr. Mankwa is willing to protect his investments despite facing other risks. Now, balance risk and reward. And last but certainly not the least, long-term thinking beats short-term excitement. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Opoku Ware. Okay, we will accept UP, and that will be the last presentation for today. Let's clap for them as they join me on stage.
Good day, all. I want to ask you a simple question. Have you ever wondered why two investors can face the same market conditions, but one will lose money while the other one is able to protect his wealth? The answer is simple. Hedging. Hedging is like buying an umbrella before it rains. It doesn't stop the storm or the rain, but then it protects you from getting drenched. In Ghana's unpredictable financial environment, where the cedi fluctuates, interest rates change suddenly, and business liquidity is not guaranteed, hedging is essential for safeguarding your investment portfolio. Follow closely as we, the Floriat investment analysts, take you through how we guide our clients to choose certain hedging strategies to cover or protect his portfolio. Our client has a portfolio value worth 500,000 Ghana cedis containing GSE equities or stocks, fixed income securities, and other dollar-denominated assets. And his portfolio value is facing certain risks, which one-denominated assets are going to lose value, while cedi-denominated assets are going to gain value. And when the cedi depreciates, dollar-denominated assets are going to gain value, while cedi-denominated assets are going to lose value. Also, interest rate fluctuations can affect the portfolio value of our client. This is because when interest rate rises, fixed income securities like bonds and treasury bills are going to lose value. And when the interest rates reduce, fixed income securities are going to gain value. Also, we can also talk about the liquidity pressures for business operations. If the client invests in long-term assets, he will not be able to easily liquidate his assets, so which is going to affect his business operations. Our goal is to protect the portfolio value of our clients while maintaining or enhancing moderate growth. So from the previous slides, we've been able to come up with certain key risks which our client wants to manage. The first, as I earlier mentioned, is currency risk. We also have equity market volatility, interest rate changes affecting bond values, liquidity and business cash flow needs, and also the need for low-cost Ghana-friendly. Now we need to talk about what hedging is. So hedging is basically a risk management strategy which is used to protect investment from potential losses which are caused by unfavorable market movement. Why do we have to hedge our investment? First of all, we need to hedge our investment to preserve our portfolio value from decreasing, especially when there are price drops on the Ghana Stock Exchange or interest rate hike. Also, we need to hedge our investment to maintain liquidity. Liquidity is basically the ease with which one can change his assets to cash without any losses. So by investing in short-term assets, our client will be able to liquidate some of his assets to meet business operations. Also, we have to hedge our investment in order to reduce exposure to major market swings, especially when there are price drops on the Ghana Stock Exchange to prevent the portfolio value from drastically reducing, and also to achieve a moderate and sustainable growth. Now we're going to look at what hedging currency risk is. So with the hedging currency risk, our clients can invest in US dollar mutual funds. So when you invest in the US dollar mutual fund, when the cedi depreciates, he's going to earn returns on the dollar-denominated assets or the dollar mutual fund, which can be used to balance the losses that the local currency caused. Also, he can invest in short-term treasury bills for stability. When he invests in short-term treasury bills for stability, he'll be able to easily liquidate his assets to meet business operations. Also, he can increase his US dollar buffer reserves to protect his purchasing power. And also, he can use invoices for international clients in US dollar.
So now we move on to hedging equity market volatility. So equity market volatility is basically the mood swings of the stock market. It's like prices shoot up and then they dive back down and they do like random cuts for no reason. And since part of our client's portfolio is in GSE stocks, we have to hedge for this risk. So we advise that our clients diversify across sectors. So multiple sectors are not going to panic at the same time. At least it's not likely that they're going to panic at the same time. And since they are not going to panic at the same time, spreading the equity exposure will ensure that when there is a dramatic swing in one stock price, it's not going to drag the whole portfolio down. Also, we advise our clients invest in ETFs or mutual funds. So ETFs or mutual funds also invest in a diversified pool of investments. And this will ensure that one single volatile stock or a couple of volatile stocks are not going to give the whole portfolio a heart attack. We also advise that our clients apply stop-loss strategies. So a stop-loss strategy will set a predetermined price at which your stock is supposed to be sold to minimize losses when prices fall too far. And then also we advise our clients favors dividend-paying stable stocks. And since some stocks pay regular dividends, it's going to ensure that our clients will receive steady income, even when there are price fluctuations. Sorry. And then now we go to hedging interest rate. So interest rate risk is the chance that changes in the interest rates will affect the value of fixed income securities like bonds, with prices falling as the rates rise. And ignoring this risk is like leaving your umbrella at home during the rainy season. It's like maybe you like wahala. So we advise our clients to ladder T-bill maturities. And this is basically investing in T-bills that mature at different times. So for example, instead of our clients investing 100,000 cedis in a 1-year T-bill, they can split it into 25,000 cedis each for a 3-month T-bill, a 6-month T-bill, a 9-month T-bill, and then a 1-year T-bill. This will help our clients to reinvest the funds from the short-term T-bills when the markets, the interest rates rise. And then also we advise that our clients hold more short-term securities in rate-rising periods. And like I said earlier, since they are short-term, they mature earlier. So you can be able to reinvest them and we advise our clients uses money market funds for safety and liquidity. So So now moving on to managing liquidity and cash flow. So our client is a business owner, and the structure of her portfolio might cause timing mismatches between when her investments are supposed to generate cash for her and when she needs cash for her business. And so, since suppliers are not going to accept the excuse of my investment is due next week for payment, we advise that our clients will maintain 3 to 5 months of operating expenses to be able to meet surprises when they arrive. And then we also advise that our clients uses high-yield money market funds for emergency buffers. We also advise that our clients avoid locking all funds in long-term bonds. Also, our clients should keep a 10 to 15% cash buffer. And then low-cost hedging tools that are available in Ghana. So we have treasury bills, which are short-term and stable. We have money market funds, corporate commercial paper, and then sector diversification. So our hedging strategy framework, we aimed at protecting currency exposure, reducing equity volatility, stabilizing income via bond laddering, and then maintaining strong liquidity buffer.
So to conclude today, we've learned that hedging reduces risk, but does not eliminate it. With hedging, we can combine diversification, US dollar exposure, treasury bills, and liquidity buffers. Also, hedging helps to build a resilient portfolio for Ghana's changing market. Before I leave, I would like to ask you a question. Do you think that your portfolio is going to suffer or survive the storm or rise above it? Well, with the right hedging strategies, your portfolio will not just survive the storm, but it would flourish. Floriat, thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Let's clap for all the schools. They've done very well. Okay. So we are presented with a situation where somebody had 500,000 and the person was facing 4 different risks, okay? So candidates or contestants were to give us solutions to those 4 areas, okay? So this is how the marking was structured. There's technical bit that addresses what you actually did. Were you able to solve the question you were asked to solve? So all the 4 problems, were you able to give us technical, looking at your slide, solutions to them? If you were able to do that, you get 2.5 for each of those issues, giving you 10. Then out of 15, you have 5 left. Delivery gives you 3, how you're able to deliver your teamwork, all of that. And the slides itself gives you 2, giving you a total of 15, okay? So to the audience, when we say hedging, it's simply, they've given you multiple definitions. When we say hedging, it's simply you building a hedge, like a wall, around yourself. So you anticipate that something might go wrong, and so you build a wall, a hedge around yourself. And so our students have given you multiple definitions. I'm not going to go into details, okay? But we are living in a very, very, very important foreign exchange or currency regime, right? And so if you are here, you see the dollar, the cedi is now performing a bit okay as compared to major currencies in the world and all that. So this is a very, very, very important presentation, and I believe we understood and paid attention. We don't have time for questions and all that, so we go straight into how the presentation went. So St. Louis. Now, when it comes to the technical bit, all of you said the same thing. I don't know if you prepared together or something, but all of you said the same thing. Stop loss, this. So everybody out of 10 gets 9 out of 10 for all of the technical issues, right? You address the issues, and so you get 9. Of course, you can't get 10 because everybody can punch holes in what you did. Okay, so you all get 9. Now, when it comes to delivery, okay, when it comes to the delivery, okay, so let me start with what I have here. So UP, you did very well. Some punchlines here and there. So out of 3, you get 2.5 out of 3. Your slides. Now, slides is a PowerPoint slide, not a Power Note, okay? You did PowerPoint. Some people, when you put the point there, you don't explain it. Then it becomes a lecture note or something, okay? But you put points over there. So out of 2, you get 2. So out of 15, UP gets 13.5 out of 15. Opoku Ware, of course, technical, 9. Delivery, out of 3. So when we talk about delivery, we are talking about confidence. We are talking about whether you are fidgeting on stage. Are you able to deliver without getting angry at the person holding the remote and all that, right? So you had some issues here and there. Maybe you can see me later for that. But you get 1.5 out of 3. And your slides, and we can go back to the slide and I'll point a lot of issues with your slides, okay? You were explaining things, you bold in some, you leave some, all of those things. So you get 1.5 out of 2. So you lose 0.5 marks over there. So out of 15, you score 12. Accra Academy, technical, 9. Delivery, you are sitting together. You delivered together, 1.5. And your slides, PowerPoint, excellent, 2 out of 2, giving you 12.5 out of 15. Please check the accuracy of the arithmetics, okay? Technical for St. Louis, 9. Slides, you also were explaining a lot of things. So you keep the point in your mind, you look at the point, you explain. You don't have to explain on the slides. 1.5. And delivery, you did very well in your delivery. You get 2.5. So you get 13 out of 15. So 13 out of 15. So St. Louis gets 13. Accra Academy, 12.5. Opoku Ware, 12. And UP, 13.5. And that brings us to the end of the investment section. Okay, so I'll take the accumulated scores later. Let's move to true or false. So I'm going to give you questions, statements. You have to tell me whether the statement is true or false, okay? You have one attempt, obviously. Now, if you get it correct, 2 points. If you get it wrong, -1, right? All right, so you know the risk here. If you are a risk-averse investor, like you just said, you can decide not to answer, in which case it passes as a bonus. Now, the schools have to wait for me to declare it as a bonus. You ring, wait to be called upon, and you give me the answer. The same rules goes for you. If you get it correct, 2 points. Get it wrong, minus. We should even do it -3, okay? But it's -1. All right. Are you ready? Okay. Gentlemen, you look unfamiliar. Introduce yourself.
I'm Eric Edujemfi.
Eric, you're welcome. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I know you too. I know you. I don't know you.
I'm Noble Kwame.
Jonathan?
Noble Kwame.
Okay, Noble. All right. Okay. St. Louis. ESG investing focuses mainly on financial performance and partly on environmental or social impact, true or false? ESG investing focuses mainly on financial performance and partly on environment and social impacts.
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Accra Academy, a company that transitions to renewable energy and reduces its carbon footprint would score positively under the environmental pillar of ESG, true or false? A company that transitions to renewable energy and reduces its carbon footprint would score positively under the environmental pillar, true or false?
True.
True is correct for 2 points. Opoku Ware, good labor practices, fair wages, and community engagements fall under the government and society pillar. I'm taking it again. Good labor practices, fair wages, and community engagement falls under the government and the social pillar of ESG.
True.
False. You agree, right? You don't agree, it's false. So it's social, okay? We didn't say anything about governance, it's social. Okay, let's proceed. UP. In Ghana, ESG investing supports national development goals, including renewable energy, expansion, and social inclusion. True or false? In Ghana, you already have the answer? Okay.
True.
That is correct for 2 points. The next set of questions, I'm going to read them once. So please pay attention. Okay. Fundamental analysis is more useful for identifying short-term price movement than long-term price intrinsic value. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Accra Academy. A company with strong earnings growth but high debt may still be considered risky under the fundamental analysis. True or false? True. That is correct for 2 points. Opoku Ware. Technical analysis assumes that all publicly available financial information is already reflected in the stock market charts price charts. True or false?
True.
True is correct for 2 points. Clap for him. He was not sure. Okay. UP. Sentimental analysis focuses on measurable financial indicators, not emotions or market psychology. True or false?
False. False.
That is correct for 2 points. Next set of questions. St. Louis. A member's right to attend general meeting is absolute and cannot be delegated to another person. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Accra Academy. Members have right to receive dividends only when dividends have been duly declared in accordance with the company's regulations. True or false?
False.
No, please. -1. A company, Opoku Ware, a company may increase a member's financial obligations without their consent if it is approved by a majority vote at a general meeting. True or false?
True.
False. -1. UP. So the Companies Act provides that members' financial obligations cannot be increased, okay, without that member's due consent, right, in writing. All right, so you cannot just stand up and do that. UP. Preemption right ensures that existing shareholders can maintain their proportion of control when new shares are issued. True or false?
True.
That is correct. 2 points. St. Louis, under the law of supply, a fall in the price of a good encourages producers to increase output because they expect higher profits. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Accra Academy, the law of demand assumes that all other variables affecting demand are held constant. True or false?
False.
That is not correct. Have you heard what is the law of demand? Sarita's parables. All other things held constant. So it's true. Okay. Opoku Ware. A rise in the price of a good will always cause the quantity demanded to increase because consumers reduce purchases. True or false?
False. False.
That is correct for 2 points. UP. If consumers are willing to buy a product but lack the ability to buy, economists call this effective demand. True or false?
False.
False is correct for 2 points. Next set of questions. St. Louis, capital gains from selling shares listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange are taxable for individual investors but exempt for institutional investors. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Accra Academy. Interest earned by a resident investor from government or corporate bond is taxed at 1% to 5% withholding tax. True or false?
True. True.
That is not correct. Have you seen a tax that is within a range of 1 to 5% before? Withholding. Okay. Don't worry. All right. Opoku Ware. Dividend income from Ghana Stock Exchange listed companies is subject to an 8% withholding tax, which is deducted before the investor receives payment. True or false?
True.
True is correct for 2 points. UP. Investors are not required to report dividend and interest income on their annual tax returns if withholding tax has already been deducted at source. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Next set of questions. I believe this will be the final one. Please. I've said this. I don't know. Maybe we should give you headsets, okay? So that you only hear what I'm saying and it blocks out the noise. Because if you keep listening to them and you keep giving me answers, it's so unfair. It's so unfair. Even to you. Okay? So please stop listening. And I don't know how they'll stop listening if you people don't stop saying the thing. Do you want us to walk you out so that, because it's not, we are not playing. We can walk you out and do the contest with the contestant. And then you come and look at the results if that's what you want. You don't do that. Okay. Next set of questions. St. Louis. Economic business cycle follows a strictly predictable annual pattern consistent with the economy. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Accra Academy. Fiscal policy encompasses central bank's adjustment to interest rates and government spending. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Opoku Ware. Perfect competition features products that are highly differentiated. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. UP. Monopoly market structures maximize consumer surplus. True or false? False or false?
False.
False is correct, and that brings us to the end. Okay, last set of questions. My apologies. St. Louis. Fiduciary duty permits undisclosed personal conflicts. True or false?
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Accra Academy. Audit committees are not required for financial oversight of the financial data of the respective companies. True or false?
False.
That is correct. People are saying false. That's why I said, I don't know how to help this. Maybe we'll talk about it after the contest. It's very bad. All right. Opoku Ware. Okay. Corporate bonds carry no risk of default from the issuer. True or false?
False.
False is correct. And the very last question. The very last. Dematerialization in securities involves maintaining physical paper certificates. True or false?
False.
False is correct, and that brings us to the end of round 5A. I'll take my final comment from the contestants before we move into the riddle section. I see a lot of sweat. So let me take, maybe the sweat is... Okay, so St. Louis, how are you feeling? Entering the last round. And are you still very confident as you started?
The Lord is with us.
The Lord is with you. Okay, we will see. Accra Academy, how is it going?
There is still hope.
Opoku Ware.
Indeed, God is still the light of our knowledge.
UP.
Kavod is arriving.
When you are done, you come and see me and explain that. What you saying? Okay. All right. Our scores ready. Okay, we await our scores. So you are welcome to the National Investment Quiz Competition 2025. We are testing contestants' knowledge on investments, okay? So if you are a lover of investments and how things are going in the economy, please follow us on all our various platforms. You can search Young Investors Network and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, what have you, okay? All right. The winner of this contest qualifies automatically into the next round of the contest, okay? The loser also stands, that is the first runner-up, also stands a chance, okay, depending on the scores by which they lose. So if you are losing, lose well, okay? If you are accumulate as much points as you can because it may feature somewhere, okay? All right. The scores are in. Round 4. Round 4. Okay, St. Louis, 13, 1-3. Accra Academy, 12.5. This is for round 4. 12.5. Okay. 5A. Round 5A, right? Round 4. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is the round 4, the presentation. So 13.5, 12.5, 12, 13.5. So let's listen to the accumulated scores, okay? As at round 4, this true or false is not part. As at round 4, we have St. Louis 59, 5-9. Accra Academy 45.5. Opoku Ware 45. And UP 47.5. Let's clap for all of them as we move into the riddles section. My favorite. Riddles. Now pay attention. I have a number of riddles here for you. Okay? I'm going to give you, every riddle has 5 clues. If you answer correctly on the first clue, 5 points. Answer correctly on the second clue, 4 points. If you answer correctly on the third or any other clue, 3 points. Now it is open to all schools. The first school to ring will be called. Wait to be called before you produce the answer. Trust me, if you produce it before you are called, it will not be given to you. Wait. Even though you've rang, wait. Okay, if you are ready, riddle number 1. Okay, let's test the bell again. UP. Hey, it's very good we tested the bell. What have you done to the bell? Kindly check for them. St. Louis. Okay. Accra Academy. All right, let's start again. If he's... Okay, so UP. Again. All right. Opoku Ware. Accra Academy. St. Louis. Okay. Hello, don't be distracted, okay? That thing will not take you anywhere. Listen to me. Okay. 1. I gained prominence in the 1930s through the work of economist John Maynard Keynes. You know ring. 2. I arose from the attempt to explain why economies sometimes fall into prolonged unemployment despite the ability to produce more goods. 3. I emphasize that what matters is not just people wanting goods, but the ability and willingness to pay for them. 4. Opoku Ware, right? Wait, are you the one? Are you 3? Okay, Opoku Ware.
Effective demand.
Next riddle. School that, in fact, all the riddles, if you get it correct on the first clue, 100 cedis from my pocket. Do not clap for me. Okay. 2. I am a popular term that became significant during the rise of modern capital markets in the 19th and 20th century, when governments began tightening rules on public fundraising. 2. I emerged partly because investors needed protection from misleading companies' promotion and speculative schemes. 3. My development is closely tied to securities regulation, as I serve as one of the primary documents used to disclose essential information. 4. I usually describe a company's business model, financial health, risk, and reason for raising funds, helping investors judge whether the offer is trustworthy. And 5. Whenever a company seeks to issue shares or bonds to the public, I am the formal document they must present to the public. Opoku Ware.
Prospectus.
That is correct for 3 points. Number 3. I have my roots in ancient legal systems where early societies needed rules to determine when someone owed duty or compensation. 2. My meaning evolves through Roman law and later English common law, becoming central to resolving disputes and enforcing obligations. 3. I help distinguish between when a person or entity is legally responsible for an action, omission, or financial obligation. 4. I can arise from contracts, thoughts or statutes, or even equity, depending on the circumstances that impose responsibility. And 5. In modern legal and business settings, I represent an obligation one must settle, whether it involves paying money. Opoku Ware.
Specific performance.
Oh boy. I saw 4. Was that correct? Yes, 4. UP.
Implied offer.
No. St. Louis.
Corporate action.
I'm not accepting that. So I'm finishing the last clue. Accra. Bleo. I represent the obligation one must settle, whether it involves paying money, performing a duty, or bearing the consequence of a breach. Anyone from the audience? So the answer is, listen, I represent the obligation one must settle. That's a liability. So the answer is a liability, okay? As simple as that. All right, thinking out. Okay, next riddle. Are you ready? Next riddle. I am a very important concept, and particularly important as governments and organizations realize the need for financial buffers against unforeseen. My 100 cities. St. Louis.
Corporate governance.
That is not correct. 2. My 4. UP. Please. Are you out? Okay. Accra Academy and Opoku Ware. My purpose grew clearer during periods of economic instability where emergencies expose the dangers of operating without reserves. 3. I function as a structured pool of resources set aside to manage unexpected costs, crisis, or Opoku Ware.
Emergency fund. Emergency fund.
I'm not accepting that. Accra Academy.
collective investment schemes.
Please, let's continue, okay? I said I'm a fan. So you were close, but I can't give it to you because it's a riddle. The answer is contingency fund. Okay? We don't have anything like, I won't accept that so that I'll go and create any protest. I don't like protest. So. Next set of questions. In fact, the next riddle. And the final riddle. So you can start ringing the bells even before I start, because final one. I became prominent with the rise of modern company law in the 19th century, especially as businesses began to fall more frequently in growing industrial economies. My role emerged to ensure fairness when a company winds up, so that assets are handled properly and creditors' rights are protected. 3, I act as the person responsible for gathering a company's assets, valuing them, and settling outstanding debts. Opoku Ware.
Liquidator.
Liquidator is correct, and that brings us to the end of Okay. So that brings us to the end of the contest. Let's clap for all of us. We've done very well. Okay, so when we began, I said we look at the persons whose God came through for them. So let's look at, this one was some Logos something. Kabod. Okay, and this one was the light something knowledge. This one had hope, and this. All right, so let me hear the final say my contestants have for me as we await the scores for this round. Let me start from Opoku Ware because you are on heat. Opoku Ware, how was this particular round and the contest in general?
Please, as we said, God is still the light of our knowledge.
How was the round?
So this particular round.
Yeah.
So it was very good.
Okay, all right. So, UP, how was this particular round? How did you see things?
It lived up to expectation.
Okay, all right. Yes, Accra Academy. Smile and talk to me. Smile.
The whole contest.
Yeah, how was this round and the whole contest?
Okay. This round was quite confusing, and then I'm proud of myself, even though I didn't win.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yes, St. Louis.
It was okay.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much as we await our scores. This is the National Investment Quiz Competition 2025. Okay. The school that gets the highest score is automatically qualified, right? And as I said, if you are second, if you go home or to wherever you are lodging, pray that other people will fail more than you did so that you get to qualify, okay? 2 people are qualifying. Oh, okay. I stand corrected. So 2. Okay. So smile. Some of you are frowning. So at the end of round 5, these are the scores for round 5. A and B. St. Louis 14. You not clap for them. Please clap for them. Accra Academy 5. Opoku Ware 17. UP 14. So at the end of the contest, the following are your scores. St. Louis 73. Accra Academy 50.5. Opoku Ware 62. UPSHS 61.5. So by this result, and by my power as the quiz master, I declare St. Louis and Opoku Ware qualifying to the next round of the contest. So UP, go and pray very hard. And Accra Academy, I'll see you hopefully next year. Thank you very much to the audience and everybody. I'll see you in the next contest. Have a nice day. Bye.
Please, St. Louis and Opoku Ware, kindly come up for some picture sessions, please.